Our special elections update here on SABC. Now let's get some analysis and roundup of the day's events with Dr. Somadoda Fikeni, our political analyst and guest in the studio. Good evening to you. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. I mean, you've seen a lot of the issues that have arisen today, some polling stations not being opened, but relatively speaking, when you think about the sheer number of people who were able to cast their ballots today, their votes today, it's been a day that the IEC can look back with some measure of pride.
Without any doubt, I do think that it has been smooth, and the weather has also cooperated in the main, because there was also that fear that it could be in the extremes. And the levels of disruption in comparative terms are not that bad to cast doubt on the outcome of elections. And one of the reasons for that, I think it's because some areas, like in the Northwest, showed their hand, protested during the special votes. So by the time you had the main votes, the security was in place. So that in itself, I think, also contributed.
A lot of the political party leaders are going to be now going through the process of biting their fingernails as the results start trickling in overnight. But some of the concerns you may have heard raised there, particularly in Alexandra a moment ago, are issues that arose during the campaigning. People have made their marks, but in terms of how people respond to what has happened, there's going to be a lot of picking up of the pieces, if you follow what I mean, based on the rhetoric that was ramped up during campaigning.
Well, I do think that it is very important to say this phase of our democracy, the main focus is going to focus on the second generation human rights. It's no longer going to be your political and civic rights, the freedom of association, the freedom of expression, the socio-economic transformation and the material improvement seem to be the key issues that have come up to dominate this election. And the governments coming nationally and provincially are going to be under tremendous stress to focus on those. And we also know now that corruption was one of the things that seemed to impact negatively on the issue of delivery of services. Even where billions had been sent, they were going in every direction except on the programs they were destined to.
We know, of course, that the majority of registered voters who would have participated would be middle-aged voters, and that in a sense suggests to me that in terms of the outcome, there may be shifts here and there, but the status quo will remain.
Generally, the status quo will remain. A society that has been so much divided like ours, constituencies tend to ossify or solidify. Even when they are unhappy, as was the case with the ANC, they tend to stay at home rather than to move and mess to other parties. So the key outcome of this election will depend on whether the parties are able to energize their traditional constituencies to come out and vote. And that in itself, I think, is going to be a key determinant.
Right, we'll leave it there with you for now. I know you'll be joining my colleague Francis Hurd for more discussions, so we'll hear a lot more from you throughout the evening. But at this stage, we'll be saying goodbye to our SABC 2 and SABC 3 viewers for this special elections update. 3 hours or thereabouts still left for people to have an opportunity to cast their votes. From me, Bongani Bingwa, that's where I'm going to leave it for this evening. Until tomorrow, ubusuku benzolo. Good night.